Hello. So today I put on my Instagram a little question where I said I was going to do a Q&A on YouTube and people can ask me any questions that they have on the topic of cuckolding. So this video is going to be me answering all of your questions about cuckolding. Now, it did get a lot. I'm not going to answer them all, but I'm going to pick out, there's quite a few that are kind of similar, and there are some that are not probably safe for work enough to be discussed on YouTube. So I'm just going to read as I go. I haven't pre-planned this. So they may not be in the best order. But yeah, just keep it real, just scroll and answer, and I'll skip over the ones that are a little bit too risque. So the first one, I don't have a female partner but want to experience cuckolding. What should I do? Well, this is perfect because this is exactly what I cater to personally. I am an online cuckoldress, so I specialise in giving men that would like to be cucked the kind of experience of that, you know, the fantasy of that. So I highly recommend checking out my content, my fan pages, and I'm sure you will find what you are looking for, at least for the short term anyway. I don't understand the next question. I'm not really sure. It just says pregnant BBC question mark, which I don't really know where to begin with that, so let's leave that. So the next question is, how does the dynamic work in a cuck relationship? So it's different for everyone. It does vary a lot, but typically it would be a female that is traditionally in a relationship with a man, and they both get satisfaction from her being with other men, typically men that are more alpha than her partner. I personally don't like to be in a relationship with beta men, but I do enjoy showing them what they're missing. So I like to have a relationship with an alpha man and then just have many cuck type men that enjoy the relationship that I'm in, which isn't as typical, but yeah, generally it would be that a guy gets off on seeing his partner with being with another man. There are other versions of this, so there are sort of Stag Vixen dynamics where the partner is more of a alpha in the relationship and often also participates in her relationship with other men, but that isn't something that I really focus on in kind of cuckolding specifically. Like I said, there's lots of variations. It's kind of what works for you. There's no right or wrong answer really. Okay, let me just read the next one before I read it out. I'm not going to read that one. It's a little bit too much. Okay, so this is one that I think came up quite a lot. What is the best way to find a partner who is into cuckolding? So this really varies. I mean, for me, in the past I have dated guys that are cucks, and they've kind of found me because obviously as an adult performer I am having a lot of sex with other men, and so I have just kind of naturally attracted men that are into that. So perhaps that's a good place to look. You know, women that are sex workers, perhaps. I don't know, that seems like a crazy statement to say, but anyway, it's worked for men with me anyway. But also you can look on Reddit forums to see if there are any women posting on there, or FetLife, or maybe even Twitter, or just, you know, falling in love with someone and just having frank and honest dialogue with them about your desires, and maybe they are on the same page. Who knows? I've always found it quite essential to be upfront about these things quite early on in the relationship, rather than getting stuck into a relationship and then trying to bring these things up down the line, if it's that important to you. Anyway, what is the best way to suggest it to my wife? So I always recommend a few different things here. It kind of depends how you communicate, how open-minded your partner is, etc. Like sometimes things like just showing them some cuck porn. If you happen to watch porn together, or she's open to watching some porn with you, you could try just watching some cuckold porn. Another thing, if you happen to buy sex toys for each other, maybe buy her a big dildo and say to her how much you enjoy seeing her with it, etc. Those are a couple for now. Anyway, good just to get the juices flowing. How did I get into cuckolding? So as I mentioned before, I seem to historically attract men that are into the kink. So I've always been like, yes, I'm a sex worker. I have sex with lots of men. You're either on board with it or you're not. I'm not like quitting for a relationship. So yeah, I've just always ended up in relationships with men that get off on that, I guess. So that's where it began, really, and it's just got more and more since I've gone along. When did I start? That's a very good question. I guess when I was like 21, I guess I was in a relationship then that sort of had cucky tendencies. So yeah, that's that one. How did I get into it? Just done that one. I'm a bull. Where is the best search for hot wives? So I kind of mentioned it already, but from a cuck perspective. So similar again, like Reddit forums are really good. There's loads of really good cuckold Reddit forums. Twitter also really good. And yeah, FetLife is probably a good one as well. How can I become a bull that women like you use for cuck dates? So I would suggest Twitter. I would suggest having a really good feed. If someone approaches me, I like to know exactly what to expect. So I want to see some really good videos of your dick, of you in action, and I want to know that you're confident enough that you're quite happy putting stuff out there online. So yeah, that's personally my approach and what I would be looking for, but that's obviously not what everyone requires. What makes cuckolding so special? I think because you have to have such a trusting and honest dynamic, and you really have to keep that kind of communication open, and I think ultimately you end up with a much more fulfilled relationship because there isn't that pressure on one person to be everything. You can get different things from different people, and that's okay. What do you think about bi cucking? I think it's pretty hot. I like that. I love it's something I watch myself. I do enjoy it. Yeah, no problems with that one. That's not a question, so I'm not going to read that out, but good for you. Oh, I think I'm going to avoid that one as well. Oh, it's not a question. Someone keeps saying, can you talk about? No, I wanted questions. Why don't more cucks get slapped across the face with a penis? I think for the most part because the guys are not bi and there should be a lot of consent involved, and yeah, if that's not been discussed, then it might not be something that everyone is into. But I like to receive a cheeky little slap occasionally, so from a penis, not a hand. So yeah, maybe there should be more of it. I don't know, maybe there's a niche there, a gap in the market. Is it normal for a cuck to come within 10 seconds? It can be, definitely. It's something I see quite a lot of, premature ejaculation, which is why they should be accepting of their destiny as a cuck, because that's not really any good to anybody. What about your husband's support? I don't know if they mean my husband. I am not married. I do not have a husband. Or if they mean in general. It's the question's from a man, so I don't think it's. I don't know. I do not understand this question. Or maybe you do just mean generally. I think it should be something that wife and her husband should be consenting. Both should be consenting on. There should be support on both sides. Perhaps. I think that's maybe the angle you're coming at. I'm slightly confused. Okay, when you're in a relationship, would you prefer it if your boyfriend was a cuckold? So for me personally, no. I have had that dynamic in the past, and it doesn't work for me long term. I like to be in a relationship with an alpha. I need that challenge. I need someone that can kind of handle me in that respect day to day, which I just don't find I can get from a beta male. So for me personally, I do not would not want to be in a relationship, but that's not the case for everybody. And yeah, I'm kind of one of a few that kind of have that sort of stance. So yeah, my view is certainly not everybody's view. How should you approach the subject? We've done that one. Am I married? I've just done that one, but no, I'm not. I am not married. Not yet, anyway. That's a lot of emojis. That's also a lot of emojis. Can it turn people gay? I think that's very dangerous words there. I think saying turning someone is very dated. I think if someone already has those thoughts and desires, then perhaps it could give them the opportunity to explore that further, but I don't think you can turn someone gay. Why do I not have a boyfriend? I do. I'm in a very serious long-term relationship with a very sexy Jamaican man who makes me very happy. I just don't like to post my private life too much. When do you think Hollywood film will normalise cuckolding? So it kind of already is. There is a guy in Hollywood that works in films that I have a lot of conversation with, who is deliberately writing cuckolding into storylines. And I watched, what was it called? Something about onions. I don't remember what it's called. I'm sure people know what I mean. There was something about an onion, the glass onion, I think it was called. And there was a bit of a cuckold storyline in that one, which was quite interesting. Good to see. So yeah, I think it will become more and more prominent. Do you think Bumble should include aubergine size to help women date? I mean, it's not everyone's. For me, it's important, but I feel I feel like it's not that important to everybody, and it's probably not a deal breaker for some people. It would be for me, and also I feel like if we begin there, where do we end? Like, although having said that, like whenever I've done interviews in the past, like putting my cup size in an interview has just been like a standard thing. So maybe we should normalise men disclosing their inches as women are expected to disclose cup size. Perhaps you're right. No. Who is the best loser boy? I don't know. Oh, this guy sent so many questions. I'm mostly just scanning for them. There's lots of statements here, not questions. I'm scrolling, guys. I'm scrolling. Okay, this one's interesting. Is it more fun for the woman to have a cuck who can't perform or a cuck that can but is denied? Oh, this is a great question. I quite like both, to be honest. Maybe that makes me greedy. Also it's quite nice, well, fun, should I say, to take someone that can perform and then kind of just reduce that down and down and down. Like I like chastity, where you kind of reduce the cage size until they shrivel and shrink even more. There's something quite fun about that. So yeah, I guess I enjoy both. How chastity can is used in cucking. So I've kind of just mentioned this. So it's fun for the denying. For me, I just kind of think a cuckold's penis is useless and should just be in chastity. It's kind of got no other use, and I find it makes beta males much more subservient and kind of focused on important things if they're not constantly getting distracted. So yeah, I personally think it should be used a lot. What do you do as a cuck whilst watching your partner? So unfortunately, I think there's too much of a focus on how is the cuck getting sexual gratification in that moment. And for me, I think the focus should be more on making sure your partner is having the best time. So you should be focusing more on, can you go and get them some drinks? Would she be more comfortable with a pillow under propping up something? You know, you should be thinking more about how you could be serving rather than what kind of position you could be getting yourself into to enjoy yourself. But having said that, there are some fun positions whereby you could be laid with them on top of you in various different positions, or just released a video, well, I will be this weekend actually, where I was in a chair and then the cuck was sat directly below, or lied below. That works quite well. Same on a sofa. That's quite a good one. I enjoy that one. So yeah, there you go. Kind of, I've given you both sides of the story there. Being in the room versus having your partner go out and tell you about it after. I mean, I think it's down to the individuals really. Yeah, both are hot. But yeah, I think it just boils down to personal preference, doesn't it? I personally enjoy both. How to suggest talking to partner, I've covered that. I'm not answering that one. I'm not answering that one. Best place to find. I've covered that. Gonna skip that one, although I do like it. How can I tell if a girl is into cuckolding? I would love to date a cuckolder such as you. It's tricky, isn't it? I've kind of said before, I think look in specific places where people will be quite open and upfront about this, like in cuckolding forums, Reddit, FetLife, etc. Maybe if you're on a dating app, maybe put it in your bio that you enjoy being cucked, and then maybe that will provoke people asking you questions. I don't know. That's literally just come to me. Maybe that's a little bit too forward. I'm quite a black and white person, so maybe, no pun intended, maybe just be that up front. Being up front's always worked for me. So yeah, maybe try that. Another one about chastity. Is it predominantly a male fantasy? So it's not. Some women are also into it. So when a woman's into it, they are referred to as a cuck queen, spelled with an EA, Quean, which annoys me because it's commonly misused. Like people will refer to me as a cuck queen, and I'm like, no, I'm not. I am a cuckoldress. So yeah, that is what a female that likes to be cucked is called, as a cuck queen. But it does seem to be less common or less discussed. I'm aware of like swinging couples and stuff where the wife is also into seeing her partner with other people, so it's not completely unheard of. It's just not as explored. How do you ask your wife to get into it? We have covered this. So that is actually the end of my list, which I think is kind of good timing. So yeah, hopefully that's given you a little bit of insight into my personal take on cuckolding and my preferences. Like I say, it's just my opinion. There is a vast dynamic out there. Find what works for you. But I've had quite a lot of fun asking these questions. I might try and do more of these. If you have any further questions, comment below, try and keep them fairly clean, or drop me a message on my fan page if they're a little bit more risque. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this. Do like if you did, and maybe I'll do one of these soon.